Hi everyone, here's the Bookchemist once again, and this is a quick review of The Escapists, the comic book series which also exists as a single volume by Brian Vaughan, Steve Ralston and Jason Shawn Alexanders, based on Michael Chabon's classic novel The Amazing Adventures of Kavalier and Clay, one of the best novels of the 21st century, if not of human history. Now, The Amazing Adventures of Kavalier and Clay, if you haven't read it yet, stop the video, go look for a bookstore, is about a couple of boy geniuses who, during the golden age of comic books, create a superhero comic book revolving around the Escapist, this legendary escape artist with, a curious team of assistants and such. And there are lots of, supporting material for fans of this novel, because the Escapist then became an actual superhero comic book, and you have 3 collected volumes of the Escapist adventures. These one are the first and second, and the Escapists also taps into that kind of legacy, and in a way continues and carries on the story of this fictional universe. I won't talk about the plot of the Escapists because I never do that in my reviews. I talked about Kavalier and Clay, but because this is not a video about Kavalier and Clay, I guess. But this again deals with the Escapists and with the, Sam Clay, Joe Kavalier, the characters from the novel, but they are left in the margins in a way, even though they are central in another way. This is an original story about comic book creators trying to find their way in a very difficult world to navigate, that of comic books today. It's extremely short. I think you can read it in less than 1 hour, and it's extremely thrilling and fascinating and heartbreaking. And I have no idea if it's so short because it was a flop and so they had to, cut the series after a few volumes, or if it was planned to be this short from the beginning. But it's a great book, a great comic book, graphic novel about the nature of ambition and of influence and of, the kind of passion that turns people into creators and amateurs in the Chabonian sense of the term. One of the key features of Michael Chabon's fiction is the idea that, all novels are sequels. I don't know if you can hear it, but there's some kind of squall, gigantic storm coming on, whatever. Anyway, everyone's a creator. Every fan of whatever becomes a creator in order to, tap into what he liked of the stuff he liked and to, create it anew and to tell that story again. That's the whole idea behind all novels are sequels. And this is a great exploration of that idea. It's about caring about comic books, or caring about fiction in general. It might be comic books, it might be video games, it might be popular fiction and genre fiction, so much that you want to, make it live again in the world of today and to create your own take on the stuff you love. It's a novel about fan fiction in many ways, a graphic novel about that. It's also, of course, a novel about growing up as a creator and finding your own voice while preserving and while, of course, respecting your influences. It's a great novel on artistic creation, and I will definitely suggest it to all creators out there, whether you'd like to, go on to a career in comic books, to become a novelist, to become, a game designer, whatever. It reminded me a lot of a manga series I read in high school called Bakuman, which I believe is by the same creators of Death Note, which is, again, about a couple of boy geniuses who would like to make a career in, mangas, drawing mangas and writing them. It's very similar in so many ways. Of course, that's about the world of Japanese comic books. This is about the American world, and it's also a graphic novel about Cleveland. It's very much about Cleveland. If you, by any chance, are a fan of Bakuman, check out The Escapists too. Do you need to have read The Amazing Adventures of Kavalier and Clay to understand The Escapists? Not at all. For obvious reasons, you'll get more of the Easter eggs and references hidden in this comic book if you've read the novel already. If you haven't, and if you don't feel like tackling a 600-page novel on the basis of my word, do read The Escapists. If you like it, I'm sure you'll feel like exploring the novel that generated it. If you've already read The Amazing Adventures of Kavalier and Clay, should you begin with The Escapists in your exploration of, these characters, this superheroes world, or should you begin with the actual comic books on the Escapist, begin with these ones. The collected volumes, the 3 collected volumes of the Escapist comic books are a gem. They are priceless. That's it. Let me know if you have read the Escapists. I have no idea whether this is very famous or very obscure. Let me know what you think of it, if you're going to read it. Let me know whatever passes through your mind in the comments below. Thank you once again for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.